Hey, after you guys are done watching this podcast here on YouTube, for the full extended version of this, hop over to Spotify and check us out there. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Weekend Media Podcast. After a long hiatus, my boy is back. Brian, Netflix, Garcia, Tirado. What is going on, man? I feel like, you had vanished from the site. Our 3 listeners were frantically wondering where you had been. What's going on, man?
Man, you know what? It's just the season. Everybody's sick. I've been sick. I'm sick right now. I just took myself a tea, right? Trying to get better. I got a cough drop in. But yeah, I've missed it. I've missed doing this. I love doing this.
In the background, there was a video of yours that just played here.
Holy crap. What?
Yeah. Yes. So if you guys, for anybody who hasn't seen this was during the winter apocalypse of Texas, in which Brian was driving his Jeep down the street. It was icy, it was slick, and the thing just rotated around like it would have with anybody. And man, tell us a little bit about what happened with that video.
Man, for people to understand this, like, you've really got to know me. So the Jeep lived in my parents' house in North Carolina before they relocated to Texas. And I would take military leave and work on it. It took about 8 to 9 years to finish the Jeep. And you know for a fact, I think when you drove it, it had 800 miles. Now it has 1,200 miles. I don't drive it a lot. It was a father-son project. And because Gabe is so young, listen, the old school Jeep technology for baby seats just wasn't there. So we're just waiting until he gets older so we can go out as a family. I've always wanted a photo of the Jeep in the snow. I've always wanted that. Like, I love the old Jeep CJs in the snow. So we had the snow apocalypse of 21, where it was like a heavy ass snow. And you can ask Ashley, you can ask anybody, I've been praying for a heavy snow. So just recently we got that light dust thing. I'm like, man, this is good enough. Like this'll do. Grab my camera. I put this old soft top on the Jeep so I could stay warm. I literally got 2 feet from the house. Like, that video is so close to my house. And yeah, I hit ice. Texas doesn't get like snow, we get ice. And that's exactly what happened. And there's a bump in that road. And some people on Facebook noticed that the Jeep does this bounce, right? And then that's when the back end starts to rotate out. Naturally, I went clutch in, let off the gas, and I turned the wheel as fast as I could. You've driven the Jeep. You know how many times you got to turn that wheel?
Oh, like 20 times. It's like driving an old school bus, man.
Exactly. It's like it takes forever. So I'm cranking this wheel, and that's why I have that delayed. Because like I didn't catch it, right? I'm like, I can't believe I didn't catch it. And I just boop the curb, and then I just keep going straight. The reason I was recording was because I wanted to show Ashley the neighborhood covered in snow. So I literally wedged my iPhone between the dash and the windshield. That's where the windshield wiper motor is. And that's why I was recording. I left it recording. The whole video is like 13 minutes long. The point of the story is it went freaking viral on Facebook. It's like at 9.3 million views. And I got slaughtered by the internet. I mean, people told me they wish my bright, shiny red jack would have popped off and killed me. They told me to go kill myself. I mean, you name it. It was the ugliest thing I've ever experienced in the term of social media so far. So, I mean, it just got crazy. I just woke up the next day and started reading these comments, and I'm like, man. I replied to a couple of them, and I quickly realized, like, these people commenting are not commenting to understand or have a conversation. They're simply commenting to ridicule you. Their sole purpose of commenting is to continue to break you down. They just didn't know that I was sarcastic and witty, and I can flip it real quick. So I was taking a trip to Dallas, actually, and a buddy of mine, Evan, was driving. And I spent 4 hours flipping the script. And it took the video from like 3 million to 6 million views. Because then the people come back and they start commenting and they start rage commenting, dude. And I just kept it going. And yeah, I think 9.3 million views. I stopped looking at it at like 7 million views. And then I got another notification for comments. And I looked at it again. This is 2 weeks after the fact now. And it was like comments 1 minute ago, 1 minute ago. I'm like, they're still talking about this? I can't believe it, dude. And the other thing that's fascinating is I wish I was really good with computers because I would just have it auto reply. People were commenting the same thing like a broken record. Too fast for conditions. Slow down, idiot. Slow down. F-charge. Slow down. Like, I mean, you name it. None of it was nice. So I wish I could just do auto replies. You know what I mean? Because like I just kept regurgitating my responses, and they would all continue to fall for it. I don't get it.
That was so wild to me because it seemed like just something that was so innocent. And of course, it's the internet. So I knew that there was going to be some people that jumped in, but holy crap, dude. And the thing too is this goes back to what we've talked about is like, do it for the engagement. You know, there are people that went in there and they catapulted that because of their engagement on that. And then you reply back to them, which gets them fired up and jumps everybody else in there. And it was just, that's how quickly something can go from a few thousand views to a few million views. And it's insane too, to realize that the majority of videos that are going to get that viral, if you have your clothes on, is the type of video that pisses people off because you're just living your life. And that's wild to me. Like, if there's somebody behind a keyboard that can ridicule someone else because they feel that they're stupid or they did something wrong or made a mistake, those are the things that truly go viral. Hot to a girl, you know, things like that. It's just the majority of the stuff was people ridiculing her. Granted, she's in prison now or getting close to her, whatever. But maybe you don't want to do that. But it's just wild. And it makes you think, like, how upset are people with their own lives that this is what they are? Because I guarantee you, and you can probably attest to this as well, the minute you made a reply, those people were right back in there. So it's like they're waiting by their phone, just salivating, waiting for the next thing.
Again, dude, I can be a beehole too, you know, but I was 100% playing the engagement game. And I have an old video of the TRX when we iced out over here too in my neighborhood. And I posted that, and I put like a video clip in the comments, and I put, y'all want to see me spin this one out next? And I mean, they just there's some sub comment sections in that video where it's like a whole different world, and it gets even better. Like you said, these people, they're just fiending. They want to engage in just a argumentative conversation where somebody would say something and then somebody would attack that person, and then they would start attacking each other, and then other people would come in and start all attacking the same group, and they would completely forget that the video was about me. And I would go into those sub comments and I would comment, wow, this got out of hand quick, and then they'd all jump back on me. It turned into a game. But I do want to point out, I thought in my marketing brain, right? That's my background. I said, wait a minute, how can I use this to leverage some eyeballs on something that I'm doing? So I took this weekend's Clean Culture car show and drift event flyer, and I pinned that comment to the top. And I put, if you guys want to see some more like crappy driving, please be sure to come check myself out at Clean Culture. I tagged them so they could see it, drifting the Tirado Racing S197 Mustang. And one person who read all my replies, because I never once ridiculed anybody, I didn't call anybody names, just witty. A lot of it was just double downing on what they were saying about me. You're an idiot. Yeah, I'm an idiot, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you, right? One guy commented, and I shared it on LinkedIn, where he said, this is a masterclass at marketing. Whoever is falling for this needs to realize what he's doing. He said, good job, brother. And I said, that's one comment that I saw, where he saw what I was doing with the car show. So anytime somebody said like, hey, you suck at driving, if you really knew how to drift, you would do this, I'd send the flyer and be like, hey, if you want to see me learn how to do it, come out to Clean Culture and come, check us out. Stop by and say hi. I'll give you a free sticker. And that's how I twisted it. But I will say some of the comments were very dark. And Luisa mentioned that there's people, you don't know what state of mind they're at. And they could read those comments of go kill yourself, you're worthless, you're no good, for something, as you said, as innocent and simple as a slow spin on ice. And they could harm themselves. And that's messed up. In a way, like, I'm glad it happened to me because I could handle it, right? Some of the comments still got to me, and I just, hey, don't lose sight of the vision. Come out to Clean Culture, come do the thing. Like, and it was hard. But yeah, they're still popping off. I just looked at it.
Yeah, it's just insane. And this goes for like everything in life. People can't wait for a failure. And I know that last year at Ponies in the Smokies, fantastic event. They had an area there where they brought in some local drifters, and they were drifting around. And one person happened to have an incident where they smacked a curb with their car. that was all anybody would talk about from all of the drifting that went down that day, was about how this one person smacked a curb, and it turned into the joke of the weekend. And even going into other events, they were like, oh, did you hear so-and-so smacked a curb? To the point that someone even mentioned that to Vaughn at another event, probably 4 or 5 months later. And it was like, this was like the highlight of y'all's entire weekend, was one person making a mistake and smacking a curb. Like, really?
I have a great saying. I might have learned it in the military. I don't know, but it said you can climb 1,000 mountains. Nobody will call you a mountain climber. You screw one goat, everyone calls you a goat screwer. And it's to the point. I spun out once on ice by myself, right? Jeep didn't flip. Nobody got hurt. I just continued moseying on my way. I got no credit for this. I got no credit for Netflix, but now everybody knows me as the stupid Jeep owner that can't drive. Like, bro, it's crazy. Yeah, people, they're always waiting for your downfall. No one's there when you're doing good. No one's there when you're turning laps and the car's looking pristine. Touch one curb, bro. You're done for.
So for the Netflix show, I know that we haven't really gotten into it because, you keep dodging it with your sicknesses, but it was a competition show, correct?
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, everybody.
Did you ever lose while on the show?
I think that's taken away from the whole story.
No. Well, here's why I say this. Because if there was any one moment in there that you lost, post that video on YouTube and said, messing up on Netflix, whatever. That will go viral again because everybody jumping in there because you screwed up on Netflix.
That's a good idea.
That will send people to go watch that freaking show to see how it happened. You know what I'm saying? And then there's another instance.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. Holy shit.
The SCCA Houston area rallycross starts next month. I believe Lone Star Rallycross might kick off this month. And then one of the guys from Lone Star Rallycross, one of the competitors, his name is Justin. He actually has another series that he has started that's closer to the Texas-Oklahoma line. So there's a new track out there. So it's rapidly expanding. So it's going to be neat to kind of get out and see all the new competition, the other people in the areas, and just start trying new things.
I didn't realize yesterday. It took me looking at your car a little closer, but you've done some modifications for 2025 season.
Yeah, so I started off by doing the iBach Pro lift kit on there. So it's a 1.2 inch lift in the front, a 1 inch in the rear.
Is that just a spring?
It's just a spring. So it's still running the stock shocks and struts. So for me, I don't think that I need to add coilovers to the Corolla because it's doing so great. I think I need to work on the traction of the wheel and tire setup. And then from there, it'll be working on faster shifting. And then after that, it's power, because that's one of the things that these WRXs have on me when they get out there in that dirt is the power. And you can get decent power out of these WRXs with a few mods. So I really want to make sure that I'm not getting walked away from, because again, the guy that's leading the pack is 20 seconds ahead of everybody else. Now, granted, that's a cumulative. That's after 10 runs. But even then, that shows that he's at least 2 to 3 seconds faster a run than everybody else there in the field. So it's trying to make up that 2 to 3 seconds. Now, some of that's going to be with me cleaning up my driving, stop doing just fun out there and actually focus on it. But some of it's going to be in the setup of the vehicle. But I will be doing that as I look at building an actual stage rally car. Then we're going to be looking at suspension and things like that. So I have my eyes on a few cars. And we'll try and get something going. I'd like to do at least one before the year is over.
So with the three bodies, you got SCCA, you got Lone Star Rallycross, and now the one by the Texas Oklahoma line. Are you going to run all 3 series?
I would like to say that I will, but I'm not going to guarantee it, because the thing that comes into it for me is, you and I have discussed previously that there's that money factor there, that can you financially afford to do all these? For me, my biggest thing, even though Rallycross is such a low barrier to entry and these events are really cheap to get into, is the time factor. So if we look at my schedule already, in 2 days, I'm going to be in Louisiana for a training event with RTR. I am now going to be going out to North Carolina for 1 week every single month. Then add to that all the events that start rocking and rolling here soon. We got Ponies in the Smokies that is going to be in March, followed by a whole week of Mustang Week here in Texas. Then, all the other events that are right behind that. So if you start looking and checking off all these dates, that really limits my time. And I've already come to grips with the fact that in Lone Star Rallycross, there's no way that I'm going to win a championship this year, as much as I would like to. When you look at the field there, especially the leader last year, Lawrence, he was at every single event. And I hit maybe 6 or 7 out of the 13 events, but I built myself a good enough lead that I was able to pull off the win. Now, with someone who's as good as he is, consistently going every single time we have an event, there's no way I can take that from him. So I've already got in my mind that this is really just going to be the year of me going out and finding the limits of this vehicle and myself to advance for future seasons. But there's no way physically I will be able to make all these events. And that's fine. It's going to be fun. I absolutely love this sport. I can't think of another one I would rather be doing. But this drifting, I've done it. It's awesome. It's fun. I'm not knocking drifting. Drifting helps pay the bills around here. So, yeah.
Isn't that crazy how, I went from autocrossing religiously twice a month, San Antonio and Austin, to doing road racing off the Ultimate Streetcar. And, it was fun. I was enjoying myself. It was a challenge. But then I got to drifting and actually doing it. And I'm like, now this is what I'm in love with and obsessed with. There's so much that goes into it. But isn't that funny? You did drifting, you're like, and now you're in rallycross and you're completely in love with it.
Yeah. And you know what I think is kind of cool too, and I've seen this amongst other people that have been in other disciplines of racing and stepped over to drifting. It's fun and it's entertaining. And I think part of it is because you had done road racing and autocross for so long, and now you're doing something that takes a completely different level of car control, but also fights against everything that you ever known and ever been taught, and makes you reshape your brain and how you handle a car. And for me, it's kind of like that, even though I did start, drifting. It's just the way you control the weight transfer and stuff in the dirt is completely different. So again, it's just rewiring your brain to try something different. And it has just been so much fun. It's a new challenge. And then now stepping up against bigger competition, the same way that it is for you getting ready to look at competing and getting yourself to that spot. It's like, okay, I've done this. This is going well. Let's make it a little bit harder and see if I still love this. And I know that we both will.
I know, bro. And the crazy part is excuse me, I was thinking about it this morning in my sick head, right? I'm like, I'm just going to compete on the first round they're doing here in Austin. I'm just going to do it. What is there to, there's really nothing to lose. The guy's going to, whoever's I'm competing against, I'm pretty sure they're going to beat me. But I want to already know and feel what it's like to be in that competition setting. I want it so bad. And I'm like, you know what, dude? If Isaac's pushing for it, I'm going to be right there next to him. I'm just going to do it. So there's a tire rule, which kind of sucks. But other than that, I'm really considering, if not the first round, definitely the second round.
I got to say, I love the tire rule. It's just, it really then comes down to the driver. And then that, I think, is really going to help you. We've seen yesterday, and this isn't a knock on the Mustang because I'm a Mustang boy, but your Mustang isn't faster than the GR Corolla. So then now it's like, okay, now you would be on this track with these guys with all this horsepower that are walking away from you. But now giving it that restriction of that tire starts to level out that field and gives guys like you that are coming in a better chance and not discourage you. Because I can tell you from experience, if you go out to a drift event and you guys that are out there that have been doing this for a while and they are dialed and they got big horsepower, it is a little bit discouraging to watch those guys walk away from you or drift circles around you. It's insane. So this is going to be good.
Yeah, and that's funny because when I did Man, when I did autocross, right, it's like SCCA, so there's rules. Like I was a KMT, Classic American muscle car contemporary, and people were telling me like, don't get into the big sticky tires. It's going to hide all these mistakes. And one day I just woke up and I said, okay, I think I'm good on 255s, and I went from 255 like street tires, 555 G2s to 315s all the way around. BF Goodrich Rival S 1.5, the newest tire at the time. And at the time, it was one of the best tires. It's like a lot of the autocrossers used it. Bro, it changed my driving completely. The car had so many new limits, and I got so much faster from that off season to the next season. And everybody was like, dude, what'd you do? I'm like, well, you told me not to do, and that's get bigger tires. So I 100% get it. But when I was on the smaller tire, I had to really drive the car. I felt like when I got on the big tires, just the weight and the grip, it was like a cat on carpet. It did a lot of the work for me. Like the car was just so much fun to drive. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
And then another thing too that we've alluded to, but we haven't really expanded on, and we're not going to not do it in this podcast, but you and I and the team, we have things that we are building out to make this a long-lasting, sustainable thing for us. So then there's also the cost that's incurred with getting everything started and up and running that we're currently working on behind the scenes. So there's so many different levels to it, and it's really learning to prioritize everything, which is really the hardest thing to do for a car person and somebody who's a race car driver. But it's one of those things that we have to do. And if you look at a lot of the guys that are out there that have been able to not only make social media a career, but also be able to fund their dream of being out there and being full-time drivers, it's learning how to market yourself and turn yourself into a business. And that's kind of where we are right now, is trying to learn to make this sustainable. I don't have any intentions of leaving RTR, and I love what I do at RTR, so I want to make that very clear. But there's also avenues that I can expand and do what I want to do as well outside of that, and show that I can stand on my own 2 feet as well.
No, yeah, exactly. And the crazy part is, even I doubted myself, right? But the reality is it took 6 months to gain momentum doing it full time. That's what it took. Now the momentum's like, it snowballs. Like you hear other creators talk about this, right? When they're on their own, that you start creating and you're consistent and it starts to snowball. That's where I'm at now. Where like 6 months ago, it was getting the momentum going to show like I'm serious about what I do and how I do it. And now I'm doing this full time. And now those opportunities are starting to show up, and it's really exciting because it's like a good testament to like, hey, well, we're headed in the right direction. You just got to keep going, keep doing the work. So it's exciting, but again, got to pull back on some stuff, got to focus down on what's most important. We're going to get there.
I got to say, we do have an event coming up this weekend. Normally when we record these, it's a week in advance, but because of some circumstances outside of our control, was unable to film this a week in advance. If you're watching this on YouTube, the event will only be 2 days away. So Mr. Garcia, Tirado, hit us with that event. Let us know what's going on.
Hell yeah, brother. Clean Culture 2025 at the Travis County Expo Center. It is a car show, but it's probably one of the best car shows because they're also doing a drift event at the same time. And the cool thing about it is that the cars entered into the drift event are also super clean, which is how I got in because I've only done like 3 events. So my car is still clean. So it's gonna be a good time. It's from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Travis County Expo Center. Drift ride-alongs, car show, 2-step competition, low car limbo, you name it. All your typical car show stuff going to be going on. So it should be a good event.
Absolutely. The full weekend media team is going to be out there. Make sure that you guys stop by, say what's up. I'm sure Mr. Garcia Tirado, I know you got some hats there that you want to move. I also know that you got stickers and stuff going on. So make sure that you guys stop on by. Mr. Turtle Media himself will be out there. I think I saw that he might have some new stickers and things like that. So, but if nothing else, stop by and have a good time. Say what's up, enjoy this culture, because as we've said in other events, and I know that Jose and I have talked about it multiple times, is if you guys don't attend these events, they will go away. And then what's going to happen is when the time comes that you want to go to these events and they're all gone, there's going to be nothing but the electrification events. And you guys are going to wonder, why nobody's out there celebrating the V8s, why nobody's out there drifting, why there's nowhere for you guys to go and race. It's because you guys let it die. So let's not let this die. Let's keep it going. Show up to these events, support them. Here's the thing. I live in Houston. This event is 2 hours and 45 minutes away. I'm going to be up there this weekend to support it because that's what I do. Not just because my friends are there and they're going to be driving, but because I appreciate the car scene and I want to help keep it alive. Hell, I drove 2.5 hours yesterday to wrap a car with a buddy to make a video. So if I could do that, you guys can, hey, drive an hour and 45. If you're in Houston, drive the whole 2 hours and 45 minutes. You're not going to regret it. It's going to be so much fun. But you know what? Hey, I think that's a wrap. You got anything else you want to throw in here in terms of closing comments?
That's it, man. That's all I got. I'm excited for this weekend. If you're there, come by, say hi, mention Weekend Media, get yourself a free sticker.
Absolutely. Hey, guys, thank you so much for watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to us on Spotify, thank you so much. YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit those bell notifications so you don't miss anything that we put out here on YouTube every Thursday. If you're listening to us on Spotify, every Monday we drop a new episode. So make sure that you listen to that. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. I'm getting a little bit better with the posting on Instagram, got a little bit better on Facebook, but you know what? We need that engagement. How are we supposed to get to 9.3 million? I'm not out there spinning out in the snow. We got to figure out a way to do it, and you guys can help us get there. Help build this community, help build this up. Thank you guys so much. For Weekend Media, I am Jordan Wheeler. This is my co-host, Brian Garcia Tirado, star of Netflix and spinning out on highways. This has been Weekend Media. Thank you guys. Until the next one, peace.